they say, I accidentally hit this guy with my car. Tell me what? What's your eucalyptus street? Can you spell that, please? I want to drag him over to Pine Street instead. That's not how it went.
She had better delivery, but he's got eucalyptus is hard to spell. Is the real joke of the joke? What did the ocean say to the beach?
Oh, I know this one.
Nothing. It just waved.
Wait. I have a joke.
We can't. Nope. At the end of class, if we get through all of it. Oh man. Is this class called Tell Each Other Jokes? No, it's called Math 8.
Oh, that would be fun if it was
I
Tell Each
hate
Other
this.
Jokes,
The 8 stands for 8 more jokes. Yeah, 8 more jokes.
Guys, ready? Max.
Sounds like the rain outside. We'll try again later. But now that I have your attention, 824 is due today. Some of you still owe me 823, and that's a quarter 3 assignment, even though it's only practice. So get out 824 and check it. 824. I do. Only a few though, because I didn't grade all the other ones yet.
Gotcha. You gotta get your groovy papers.
I went to dinner with my mother-in-law last night, so I did not get my grading done. Sorry, she took precedent.
Hey, that's
People before math.
People before math. It sounds like some sort of like protest movement. People before math. People before.
Yeah, see, I don't know why you would.
Questions on 824.
I feel like you'd be on the side of that one there. I know.
Where's your 8? Where's your 824?
I got it.
Nope, go get it. The only thing I can see right now is that you don't have 824.
Did you get that done? Oh, good. Took a while. About 75.
I did this thing really late, like this space thing, and it said, I was working on it.
Yeah, I wrote 85.
You guys got all these?
60. Yes.
Hey, look at that. When we looked for it, we do have it.
Can I scroll down this?
Can you what?
No.
I think that's all.
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
Oh, wait, that is.
I think that's it, man.
I find that so funny.
If it's done and you don't have any questions, turn it in.
I feel like I've always remembered the smart. Are you happy?
No. Apparently there's a red liquid dripping from the ceiling
What?
in the hallway.
Oh god.
I'm gonna go put a trash can under
Is it
it.
in dead body?
Already.
It said about 75, so I think 10 off is still okay, right?
It's a dead person. What? Okay, somebody dead. I did get
Jake.
Jake, no.
Jake, no. Jake, it's not worth it.
Oh, it's not worth it, guys.
Jake.
It's not fun. It's not that, guys. Is it a dead body?
Come on, Jake.
It's right.
I tried to warn Jake, it wasn't worth it.
Ran into the air vents trying to escape.
Guys, what it actually probably is. Nah, does anyone actually know what fluid is always like red?
Blood?
It's in cars. No, that's actually purple, but it's in cars. It's in a lot of things.
Is that like
Coolant is normally like
Oil.
purple-ish.
Wait, Mr. Hudson, did you say blood was purple?
Yeah.
Yeah, blood's purple. It's when it's exposed to the oxygen, it changes, or yeah, exposed to the air, it changes colors. Hydraulic fluid. Hydraulic fluid, which is probably used in these garage door things. I bet there's a hydraulic line leaking. It's okay.
Why? Is when you like have that.
No, where did it?
Any questions? Is it about the homework?
What? Your veins is
Moving on.
We did
All right. What? Not done yet?
We did 7 through 1.
No. What? 7?
8 through 1.
No. Because it's tonight's homework. Gus,
due tomorrow? Isn't it
are you
due
helping?
today's Thursday?
Check the board, bro. Or did the one that I put up there, did that have the wrong date? No, it's due Friday.
I know, but we can check it outside.
All right, head your paper, 831. Head your graph paper, 831. Functions. Okay, guys, do I need to split people up that can't stop talking? I feel like when the garage doors open, we have a harder time with this, but I'm leaving it open because Mr. Hull's gone for practice, and I got to cover his extensions. We got stuff to talk about and learn today. This lesson's supposed to take 2 days, but I feel like we can get it done in 1, so that then we can play our Jenga tomorrow. Max?
If you knew it was hydraulic fluid, why didn't you tell the dude out there instead of
Because I'm not sure, but that's my speculation. And it's not my building. They will send somebody over here from maintenance. They will check it out. It'll be fine. Notice how this says examples from class, so if you put it away, you need it out. So you need your graph paper. You need this examples from class, but we got a couple problems to talk about before the one on here. 831 is what we're doing today. You need that out, but you need graph paper out first. All right, so in 115, you can label your paper 115.
Wait, are we going to do B?
Draw these 4 examples of graphs. Create a quick XY axis, like 4 XY axes for ABCD. And then we're going to draw examples of a graph that neither increases or decreases, or neither, if you want to pronounce it that way. B, a graph that decreases non-linearly. C, a graph that increases linearly, but then decreases linearly. And D, a graph that is consistently increasing. All right. Just graph what you think. We're going to compare with our teammates and see if we drew the same sort of thing as our teammates. No, we're just doing sketches. Just approximate sketches. If you are singing or making noises, this is not band or art. Or, sorry, band or choir. This is more like art than any class.
Choir is better than all of them. What?
No, this beat is the best.
Nevin, are you confident enough on your A that you would like to show it? You want to bring it up? Jake, how confident are you with your B?
Everything.
Everything? So you would like to show yours?
Yeah.
There you go. Well, if you were talking to your friends, if you were making noises, you probably spent some time not on what you should have.
I'll start with this. I honestly don't even know what non-linearly.
Yeah, we're going to push this over so that people can still see those. So Nevin's A, straight line across, like we talked about with like cars in a traffic jam, like no one's going anywhere. Or different situations where just like nothing's changing. Definitely not like what our temperature looks like today, because we're about to plummet down to freezing again tonight.
No, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, no, by midnight it will be freezing. So perfect, Nevin.
I honestly don't know which one.
Decreasing none of those. I think you skipped over B.
Okay, well, can I just see?
Colin, do you want to share the B of decreasing non-linearly? So C, Jake says I have my graph increasing. I got too much on my desk. You're good.
I honestly just drew what I thought it looked like, and that's what I drew. And that's
increasing, and then decreasing. Going up, going down.
Is that C? Wait, can I see B?
Yeah, we skipped B for a second because Jake accidentally skipped it. So that would be an example of C, but there's a lot of examples that would look like that. We're going up, then we're going down.
Can you help me do D?
Probably. Your friends might be able to help you do D, though. So,
I'll help you do D.
now, here's the only issue with this. Is this only decreasing? No. So I appreciate you being willing to take a risk and share your graph, but the problem is this increases in between the decreases. We want only decreasing. Grant, do you think your graph is correct for B, a graph that is decreasing non-linearly? Otherwise, I can pass if you want. Maybe. You want to take that risk? Max, right, how do you feel about your D? Do you want to share that? The graph that is consistently increasing? Grant, you can still come up for B.
Wait, D's just... Yeah.
Yeah?
I'm just going to write it down for a second.
You're going to do D in front of the class? Here, can I do D in front of the class?
Wow. Our immaturity level.
Well, we already did our immaturity level.
This is crap.
I want to share a graph. But I don't
Yeah,
want
I mean... So, Grant for B has, we're decreasing, but it's not a straight line. It's like, it's speeding up the decrease, and then, like, it's almost just, like, plummeting. It not necessarily, but this is an example of what we could have here. I'll show you another example of what we could do for B.
Hey, can I see what I
Is C a parabola?
Linearly, so no. C is not a parabola.
It's like a very short.
But D, we're looking for somebody for D. Renal, you want to share D? Consistently increasing.
Wait, can you do D now?
Hey guys, so it was funny at first, but you're making it not funny anymore. Lay off. You're trying to use the joke too much, and it's not funny anymore. It's just getting old. There you go. Like what we've seen a lot of. A straight line, right? Not a curve. A straight line that is just going up. Now, thank you very much, Renal. Another example of what we could have for B is a different type of graph we haven't seen much of. If I want to decrease non-linearly, I could also draw one like that, right? So kind of turn my graph over from what people had, like, okay, this is decreasing, like the ones that people had. But we can also do this where my decrease slows down. Has anyone heard of carbon dating? It's what the carbon molecules were doing on Monday when they took each other out for Valentine's Day. No. So carbon dating is how we can tell actually, does anyone know? Do you know how to define carbon dating, Lily? Speak up so we can hear.
It's basically how we see how old stuff is. So, like, we can take a fossil and be like, oh, yeah, it's based on carbon molecules. We can determine that this was alive way too long ago.
What do we use when we carbon date? We use carbons... something that is actually a video game.
Carbon fiber? That's not a video.
With carbon dating... Alright, give me your eyes up here. So I only got like a third of you guys. Carbon dating uses something's half-life. So if we were going to talk about a carbon dating graph, it would start, yeah, half-life's the game, right? So it would start at a value, and then after a certain number of years, which for carbon I think is like 4,000, or I don't know, some big number, you'd have half of what's left. Then you'd have half of what's left. Then you'd have half of what's left. So here's the weird thing, though. I am, I don't know, 30 feet from the door. If I am going to ask you how many steps it will take me to get to the door, but every step is halfway. Right? So, now this first step, I'm going to have to lie about it being a step, but if I get halfway to the door, and then I go another halfway to the door, and then I go another halfway to the door, and then I go another halfway to the door,
Oh, yeah.
And then I go another halfway to the door.
Would you never get
And
that? Or
halfway to the door. And then halfway to the door. We will never reach the door. We'll always have more to go. Right? This is why we use carbon and its half-life, because we can always track it. You want to jump in because you're probably smarter about carbon dating than I am.
Well, how it works?
Yeah, I mean we're I'm getting us to exponential
he's
functions.
been on all of them, but he's never been able to find the right part of it.
Yeah.
So Colin just had a good point.
Oh,
Like
believe that right here.
your feet were like really close to the door, right?
Yeah.
So he was like, well, isn't he there? Right? But mathematically, you can still get a smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller number infinitively.
Technically, you'll never be able to touch the doorway.
Technically, you'll never get
Well,
that.
you
Very-
can
that's very
So you'll never, like, even half doing carbon dating or whatever, you'll never.
So we gotta get better at doing what Max just did. Like raise your hand if you want to share something. What's up, Max?
Have you ever played any of the Half-Life?
I've not actually. I don't play video games.
You're missing out.
I'm sorry, man.
What's the game called? What's that?
No, that doesn't exist.
Real quick, XY table. Real quick, XY table. We got a lot to cover today. We're not talking about Half-Life like the game. Real quick, XY table. Yeah, we're making this.
How big?
You can tell how big. 20.
Oh, I didn't. Why not?
20.
So your X's just go from -3 to +3, going one at a time. -3 to +3, so -3, -2, -1, 0. 1, 2, 3. Then our Y's, -16, -10. I will stop talking because I know some of you are like, "Zit." You want me to be quiet so you can just look up there?
Yes, Mr. Hudson.
I do love Half-Life though.
Can you, with your team, can you determine if there is a relationship between your X and your Y? Chat with each other for a couple minutes. I know I just told you to be quiet, and I'm telling you to talk.
Ha ha. This is so funny.
Well, it's like
I just don't make time to play video games, man. Well, I know how I told you guys, I'm skipping my game night tonight to Great Papers. It's a board game night, but why what?
actually carbon dates.
Yeah, I know that's a joke about carbon dating. Carbon dating.
Yeah, I really didn't know you should have a game night.
I didn't even, that wasn't even on purpose.
We should have a game night.
We should have a game. Well, there is a game club, but I'm just not part of it because. Well, now lunch is shorter than it used to be, but I used to do board game club at lunch like years ago.
Join us on Wednesday.
Problem is, people need math help.
Say no.
That seems.
Here's your goal. Here's your goal, because I feel like some of you just said yes, and now you're talking about like going to the movies and stuff. If there is a relationship we can define, you should be able to write y equals using x over here. We might multiply by a number. We might add or subtract a number. If there's a relationship we can define, we should be able to give it a rule. That's a lot of hands up.
Why is there a dot?
It was just there.
You can do the cards.
I'm at like the bottom. Y equals mx plus b.
Oh yeah, that's like y equals mx plus b form, isn't it? Patrick, what do you think?
I think it's 2x squared plus 2. X squared plus x squared.
You have a lower.
We never say no. We wait.
So wait,
The interruption with Nathan Shin, please come to the
what
main
did you
office.
say?
Nathan Shin to the main office for dismissal, please.
Or 2x.
X squared plus x squared
Plus 2.
plus 2.
That wouldn't work for 1 year, right?
So that works here,
It works for
right?
everything
3
but
squared plus 3 squared plus 2. That'd be 20. What's 2 squared? 4 plus 4 is 8. Oh, it broke. We broke it. Spencer. I know, there's a reason I use cards, because otherwise the same people want to get called on all the time. Spencer? Sorry, I gotta erase this. What'd you say? 6x plus 2? How'd you figure it, like, why?
Did you trust me?
Hey, Max. Spencer's talking. Because we said, like, last chapter, or whenever it was, that this is how much we're going to increase or decrease by every time our y-intercept, or our b, is where we're at when x is 0. Because if I plug in 0, what's anything times 0? 0. So here, this would be 6x plus 2. And if we were to go graph it, draw a quick sketch of what this would look like. What would this point be? That point would be 2. And if we went up and we tried to draw that growth triangle, we would go up 6 over 1. This is a refresher of our linear models that we've already talked about. So obviously, we can't just keep talking about what we've already talked about. We got to push it further. We got to push it further. You math teacher. So on your 813 or 831, we'll just flip some numbers around. It's okay. Check out problem 117. Anyone want to read? Like the words on the page, Brenda? So, work with your team. You probably won't even need 2 minutes. Try to answer A, B, and C. Careful though. C's a little bit different. Is it written on your paper?
Yes.
Your answers are written on your paper. Your answers for this problem are written on your paper. Hey, examples from class. Oh yeah, we're in class right now.
We are?
These are examples.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah, what she said. Yeah, well, do your math. That's what he said.
Ooh. What?
We're doing this. You jumped past the night last part. We're doing this. Not your homework. Your homework. Have this one.
Oh, crap.
$10.5 times 5.
need it. It doesn't work like that. You need mine. He said divide. 5 divided by 38. That's 52. The 52 divided by 5. So I was right. 10.4. 10.4? No. Mr. Hudson, I'm very big.
Very big brain?
Yeah.
Like you either in the hospital because it's pressing your skull?
No, I'm so good. Can I answer?
If your card gets pulled.
10.4.
Amelia!
2.10.
I figure since you're on your computer, you're probably done with this problem. Or are you using that for your calculator? It's a really big calculator. So, how did you solve part A? Careful with that word just. It's almost like saying easy.
What the?
Hey, that is how you can
So,
you?
hey, I was waiting for somebody to say that because I wanted to bring it up. When you're talking about how to do something, when it makes sense to you, the temptation is to say, oh, you just have to do what, like, chill. A couple years ago, Mrs. Goldring made me very aware of how often I would say, oh, you just have to, and then explain a complicated process that didn't make sense to anybody else because I'm a giant nerd. So she, like, put me in check of, like, yo, you can't, like, that's, like, insulting to people who don't know how to do the thing you're talking about. Like, I'm like, oh, yeah, to change the brakes on your car, you just have to take off the calipers and then disconnect. It's not simple if you've never done it. That's how to jump a battery in a couple. I can make more if you want. But be careful using the word just. I'm glad you said that, though. What? I know, but like, what if somebody's not real? What if Miss Hunter's not real good at this? And like, come on. So 5 times 4 minus 7, and you got 13. Connor, what about in part B? Bring it back. Bring it back. What about when in B x is -1, Connor? What do you want me to write down? So what's 5 times -1? What's -5 minus 7? Gus, what about when x is 10?
Well, do we explain the math?
I mean, I'm already writing it down, but go ahead.
Okay, so you do 5 times 5 in parentheses 10 minus 7 equals 43.
No, that's not true. You forgot to add the parentheses at the end of the 10.
What?
Jake, are you helping?
No.
Come on. So then in C, wait a minute. Jordan, what's different about C? They x was 4, x was -1, x was 10. Oh, they give us the y. Did you say, can you do this? Yeah, talk us through it. Oh, wait, hold on. So I think you skipped over this step because you already had it done. So the first thing you said was add 7, but I think I need to write something down first. What'd you write down first? You guys are smarter than me. So 45 is what we're putting in for our y. everything Jordan's saying is right. I just want to make sure we write it out to explain it so we all are on the same page. So Jordan mentally, I guess, because he didn't write it down, said if y is 45, and then I add 7. Hey, Grant, go ahead and put that away for me, please. Then we add 7 to both sides, which really over here it disappears. So this is why Jordan, sorry, people talking at the same time as me is making it hard for me to speak. We add 7 to the 45 because that's the math we care about doing. So then what did you do, Jordan? We divide by 5. We got x was 10.4. So whether they give us the input or give us the output, we can solve for the missing piece. Convenient. Did you say Mr. Holmes?
Yeah,
Like Sherlock? I love the Sherlock books.
Did you not get what I was doing? It was the person said, what do you mean, Mr. Holmes?
Well, it depends which. Never mind. We're gonna go down a rabbit hole, and it's So. All right. Do you want to read, Jake?
Sure.
You raised your hand and you were mad I didn't call on you. You want to read this?
Never mind. I don't like it.
Jordan?
Okay.
No, that's the problem.
Okay. Some relationships are special in that they are called functions. Below are 2 relationships. One of which is
Y equals x squared plus minus 2.
x squared minus 2 is a function, and the other x equals y squared minus 2 is not. Look at the graph and table of values below for each relationship and discuss with your team why you think the relationship is part A in a function that is the one part B is not. Use your ideas to create a definition of a function. Be prepared to share your ideas with the rest of the class. These questions are accurate.
So I want you to take 2 minutes, maybe 3. Hey, Jordan. I want you to take like 3 minutes. You don't have to copy this down, but you can if you want to. Just talk with your team like what happens in A that maybe doesn't happen in B, or what happens in B that maybe doesn't happen in A. This is a function, and this is not a function. Let's figure out why. Chat with each other. Dude, it's like when I have to say the number 0 in my next math class, and 0 is in my math class, and 0 is always like, no,
You said zeros don't matter.
I know. She was very upset.
It's like a graph though.
What happens in A that doesn't happen in B? What happens in B that doesn't happen in A?
Yeah, he did.
You guys are talking to each other, not to me.
I heard, but no, this thing is cute. Negative B plus.
We have to be plugging in the X and not the Y. That's a good lie. I'm not going to confirm yes or no. That is the
Needs to do Y equals X, not X.
Okay.
What? Alright, I'm confused. Oh.
We do.
You draw my water bottle? Not very nice. No.
That's a square root of y plus 2.
I like it.
How? I think so.
Oh, but I'm missing a piece.
Yeah, go get a pencil.
Plus or minus y
We're gonna have to show Miss Hunter that video.
Yeah, you see it. It's so good.
When they start singing, I don't know if I told you about that. Like, I've already introed the quadratic formula to them.
I was there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
-3 plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a.
And then we got a key change, right? Negative. Okay, so bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back. I gotta take my ring off.
Guys, you ready?
That was a good one. That was a good one. All right, so Walter, give me some thoughts or pass. Oh, okay, he passes. Brenda, give me some thoughts.
Well, my table group thought that the difference may be because you have
Hey,
to
Gus.
input the x and try and find the y instead of the other way around.
That was a great thought. But then somebody came to the board and wrote that you can also write that one on the left as x equals plus or minus square root of y plus 2. And then the y could be going into it.
That's a very smart student.
So, yeah, like, that was a really good thought, but then somebody messed with us and said, oh, that's the same thing. Anna, thoughts? Hey, Max. So that's a really good thought based off what we've seen and what we know. But again, now x equals is still a function. This x equals is a function.
For me, it's a stat function.
Maddie? Well, I mean, same table group, so do you just have the same thoughts as Anna, or you got something different? So, for the sake of... Is that a hand or are we stretching? We'll take one more, and then I'll give you guys the secret weapon. That's because you're Max, right?
Exactly. So, something.
He's gonna be back soon.
Hey, we gotta go quick. I only got 3 minutes left.
The thing I think is the difference is how this is horizontal. It goes like this. Sure, it might be like that, but half of this line, that's a negative association. This are both positive. What I think to be a...
You're on the right track, man.
I mean, what I think for it to be a, like, what is it called again?
A function?
A function, it can't be a negative association. It has to be positive, and that's why I think that's what I think makes a function.
So you're real close. I need this because we only have 2 minutes.
No, he's Max wrong. Wait, I think
I was gonna make a chicken, but you weren't able to let me finish.
So, similar to what Max was getting at, but not quite the negative association, because actually, I could flip this, and that's still a function.
It can only be one. It can only be one.
Max?
It can only have one type of
Max
association.
K?
So Colin said this, but he's not raising his hand, so I'm going to say this. It's not y equals mx plus b.
No, so that's a good point, but that makes the difference between linear and not linear. So you're right, these are not linear because of that. On your paper, where like 831 has a space for determining if a relationship is a function, and when you turn in your homework, I'm going to expect for you to have something written there. A function, or really I should have said in a function, or for a function, or something like that. But now I'm like rushing. In a function. I don't know why I made my E like that.
I made it like that too.
Every input x. Every input x has only one output. Here's the secret weapon. This is even easier. Write these 3 letters on your paper. VLT. VLT stands for the vertical line test. Hey, I have like 30 seconds and I'm trying to get you like to be able to do your homework. So just for a second, let me talk. The vertical line test is actually a pretty straightforward process. If I can draw a vertical line and it hits the graph twice, it fails. If I can draw a vertical line and it only hits the graph once, that is a function. We will pick this up either tomorrow or Tuesday. I'm not quite sure when yet, but you've got to get out of here. Have a great day. Sorry, talk to me at extensions. Y'all gotta get.
We gotta play that song, you know, where they go, the Schoolhouse Rock song about functions.
Conjunction junction?
Yes.
What's your function?
Yes, even though it has nothing to do with math.
You can